Before Mopar's HEMI, before Chevy's immortal 350 small block, America once fell in love with a different kind of engine. Strange, powerful, and misunderstood for over half a century. It didn't come from a sports car brand. It didn't have canted valves or a modern design. In fact, many called it choked. Yet this very engine helped lay the foundation for the first muscle cars. We're talking about the Buick 401 Nailhead V8, one of the most unique and mysterious power plants General Motors ever built. With a massive 445 pound-feet of torque available at low RPM, it didn't need to scream. Just one press of the throttle, and the entire car felt like it was being winched forward. But why was it called Nailhead? And why would GM so ruthlessly abandon an engine once so powerful? Let's dive into the rise and quiet fall of the Nailhead. In the early 1950s, America entered the post-war boom with an unprecedented faith in technology. Automakers rushed to release V8 engines, symbols of power, speed, and prosperity. But Buick, known more for elegance and refinement than raw muscle, took a different path. In 1953, Buick introduced its first Nailhead V8, displacing 322 cubic inches. Its unique vertical valve layout, unlike anything else at the time, made it compact enough to fit into various chassis while still delivering impressive torque. By 1959, the most powerful version of this line emerged, the Buick 401 Nailhead V8. It arrived at a time when America was obsessed with big cars, big engines, and maximum luxury. Buick needed something strong enough to power icons like the Electra, Invicta, and Riviera, and the Nailhead answered that call. Though not built for racing, the 401's ability to generate massive low-end torque made it a sleeper favorite for street drag racers, those who didn't care about top speed, but lived for that brutal off-the-line launch. The name Nailhead itself, like a nail hammered into steel, hints at how unusual this engine really was. It wasn't Buick's official name, but a nickname coined by mechanics due to the way the cylinder heads looked, narrow, upright, and stubby like nail heads. The reason? A vertical valve layout with significantly smaller valves compared to other V8s of the era. While most V8s used canted valves to improve airflow and combustion efficiency, the Nailhead stuck with a tall, narrow combustion chamber. So what did this mean? Pros: a compact design, smaller than most engines of similar displacement, ideal for tight engine bays. More importantly, it delivered torque early and consistently, perfect for highway cruising and street drag launches. Cons: limited airflow, not ideal for high RPMs, and harder to improve with head upgrades. Ironically, that very flaw made the Nailhead a silent but deadly machine. Not something you brag about in horsepower figures, but something you feel ripping through the rear axle. And that's just the beginning. Because when you look at the specs, the Nailhead gets even more true to its nickname as a silent beast. The Buick 401 Nailhead V8 didn't need to scream to show its power. Its specs spoke for themselves. With a displacement of 401 cubic inches, the Nailhead wasn't just a big engine. It was Buick's own way of delivering performance. Its gross horsepower was rated at 325 to 340 horsepower, depending on the year and configuration. But the real standout figure was its 445 pound-feet of torque, available at a remarkably low 2,800 revolutions per minute. A 10.25 to 1 compression ratio paired with a Carter AFB 4-barrel carburetor provided smooth fuel delivery and a torque curve that felt full and steady across the rev range. The Nailhead wasn't built to rev high. Its safe redline hovered around 5,000 RPM, but it delivered strength like an old-school strongman. No noise, just raw, dependable force. Its dry weight of approximately 685 pounds kept it sturdy, without being overly heavy compared to other big blocks of its era. When paired with Buick's signature Dynaflow transmission, cars like the Riviera and Wildcat could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 7.5 to 8 seconds, a remarkable feat for machines tipping the scales near 2 tons in the early 1960s. While it didn't match the peak horsepower of engines like the Chevy 409 or Ford 390 FE, the Nailhead stood out for its unwavering torque delivery and that smooth, back-pressing sensation with every throttle tap, pure Buick sophistication. Though it wasn't built for racing, the Nailhead played a crucial role in shaping America's first generation of muscle cars in its own unique way. Rather than powering brash two-door hot rods or stripped-down speed machines, the Nailhead lived inside upscale cars like the Buick Wildcat, Invicta, Electra, and Riviera, coupes and sedans weighing nearly 2 tons, yet able to launch like sports cars. With torque arriving early and in abundance, the 401 Nailhead offered strong, confident acceleration without needing high RPMs, a trait that street racers in the 1960s loved. At a time when Pontiac hadn't yet introduced the GTO and the term muscle car was still taking shape, cars like the 1963 Wildcat or 1964 Riviera, powered by the Nailhead, were silent pioneers of the movement. In fact, many hot rodders of the era swapped Nailheads into smaller, lighter chassis because they understood that in street drag racing, torque was king, not just horsepower. Though powerful and unique, the Buick Nailhead, especially the 401, has long been at the center of heated debate within the car enthusiast community. And most of those misunderstandings stemmed from its very own unusual design. With its small vertical valves and narrow combustion chamber, many accuse the Nailhead of being choked, old-fashioned, and non-upgradable. At a time when Chevy big blocks and Mopar wedge engines were evolving with high-performance cylinder heads, the Nailhead was seen as outdated, even though it remained highly effective in real-world driving. Some mechanics at the time even joked, "Want to build a Nailhead? Don't bother, just swap in a 454 instead." Such rumors spread so widely that people forgot Buick never designed the Nailhead for racing, but for instant, smooth torque in luxury cars weighing well over 2 tons. Market pressure and internal GM politics only made things worse. As Buick was pushed to share engine platforms with Oldsmobile and Pontiac to cut costs, the Nailhead, being an in-house bespoke design, was seen as redundant. The result? In 1966, after just 13 years in production, the Nailhead was quietly discontinued. Today, after decades of being overlooked, the Buick Nailhead is slowly reclaiming its legacy, not because of its horsepower or speed, but for its historical value and unmatched character. In the classic car restoration world, an early Buick Wildcat, Riviera, or Electra that still houses its original Nailhead is considered a mechanical treasure. These cars aren't just rare, they embody Buick's 1960s identity, big, elegant, and torque-heavy. While Nailhead parts aren't as common as Chevy small-block components, the community keeps the flame alive. Some aftermarket companies still produce manifolds, exhaust headers, and rebuild kits. On forums and groups like Nailhead Buick Club and V8Buick.com, owners share manuals, restoration tips, and pride in maintaining this oddball engine. What's especially telling is that many enthusiasts refuse to swap the Nailhead for an LS or 455, even though it's easier. To them, a Buick's vintage soul isn't complete without its original heart. Each time a Nailhead fires up, its distinct tone, smooth yet commanding, turns heads and stops conversations. The Nailhead may be out of production, but the power of the Buick Nailhead still quietly resonates through the classic car world and American automotive culture. From an engineering standpoint, it was one of the first engines to prioritize maximum torque at low RPM, a philosophy that ran counter to the horsepower race of its era. The torque is king mindset Nailhead embodied would later become a foundational principle for many modern V8 engines. Beyond performance, the Nailhead left a deep impression in terms of aesthetics. Its distinctive vertically finned valve covers, the deep green or jet black engine block, and the bold Wildcat 445 script on the air cleaner, all combined to create a mechanical masterpiece, rich with Buick DNA, elegant yet never loud. Within the car enthusiast community, the Nailhead represents an old-school principle. A car doesn't have to shout to be feared. It delivers smooth, relentless torque with composure and class, perfectly capturing the spirit of an American gentleman from the 1960s. And perhaps it's that very quietness that makes the Nailhead so unique. A forgotten icon, yet one that never truly disappeared. In a car world that's grown louder and more extreme, the Buick 401 Nailhead V8 is like a deep jazz tune. Few may hear it, but those who do never forget it. It's not the most powerful, nor the most common, but it holds something many modern machines have lost: character and soul. The Nailhead isn't just a lump of iron that burns fuel. It's a piece of history, a forgotten chapter in America's muscle car legacy. And every time someone fires up a Nailhead, that story keeps on living. If you felt something for this engine, an underdog, nearly forgotten but still alive, like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow classic car lovers. Because as long as stories like the Nailhead are still told, the spirit of that golden era will never fade away.